Hi folks, Dave Schmidt. It's the afternoon of July 26th as I'm coming to you today. Last week in the video, I was in my hotel room in Hong Kong. This week I'm back home here in my home in Sedona. It's always nice to be home. Last week I had talked about the meetings that I had with the representatives of the Dragon family there in Hong Kong. I had talked about their history of understanding the global collateral accounts, the purpose of those funds, and how it has always been designed to help bring parity and commonality to the economy all around the world. It was designed so that even what we would call the lesser countries, what the old term of third world countries, countries predominantly in Asia and in Africa, that they would be on par with the Western countries in Europe and in the United States. That was always its intention and design. In 1948, they had what was called the Bretton Woods Agreement. That was to bring it in parity. That's where they started what was called the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, the World Bank, and the United Nations. All those were to be tools to bring this parity. Well, we know the history. The cabal stepped in, took control, and basically kept it to themselves. Round two of that was with President Kennedy and President Sukarno of Indonesia. President Sukarno was the M1. He was the monetary person of these family accounts, these large sums of money collateralized by gold that's beyond our comprehension. Well, we know the result of that. President Kennedy was assassinated, and within a year, the CIA had led a coup in Indonesia that overthrew President Sukarno. So here we are again, once again for round three in the year 2016. But this time, the families are choosing to use what are called non-government organizations and entities. They basically know that most of the governments are corrupt and they can't trust the sources that they come through. And they also know that the cabal is able to control these government entities and organizations. So funds are going to be released to basically organizations and individuals and corporations and some sovereign entities that are capable and accustomed to moving large sums of money. The money, first and foremost, has one purpose: humanitarian projects, to spread the money around the world to basically stabilize the world economy, and so that if there is an economic crash, it will be a soft crash and not a hard crash. The money is also used to allow what is called asset-backed money to start moving around the world, to create jobs and to stabilize situations so that we would see the ending of the wars that would be taking place. Well, that has always been the original intention. In their original intention, it was not their intention to use everyday moms and pops. But along the way, they were convinced it would be okay to start testing these systems. I have been allowed, because of basically there's thousands of you that listen to my newsletter, to be one of those groups, to invite people in to be a part of the private project fundings. I should say the private exchange fundings. I've been talking about these private exchanges now for almost a year. I've had to be very quiet. I've had to be very coy. And I had to wait until they had allowed me to release to open things up. Now, there are many of you that have attended my workshops where I could talk about it verbally, that I have been adding to a database list. Well, last week, if you listened to the radio program, I said you could be added to that list. And this week, I'm getting to add another step to that. Now, right now, all it is a database list. It is nothing more. But these are the people that are being placed on a list that will be able to participate in these private exchanges when they are ready to proceed. I am not going to put this in writing. I have to be careful. I can't just open it up, because if I put it in writing, if I put it in my newsletter, it gets broadcast all over the place, and I literally would have thousands and thousands of people coming in just within a few days, if not within a week. But I can tell it to you in a step-by-step basis. So here's the news. There's a new website that I have, the Sedona Connection Foundation.com. I'm going to give it to you here in the video, and I will release it also on the radio program, but I'm not going to put it in print. The Sedona Connection Foundation.com. Go to that website. In the right-hand column, you're going to see Humanitarian Project Sign-up Form. Click on that. All you're doing is giving your name, your email, and your phone number. That list is confidential. Is a list that I keep to myself. I do not use it for any other purpose other than what it is designated for, and I will never release that to anybody. If you want to participate in these private exchanges, then go there. And you can have family and friends go as well. And there is not a limit anymore to the family and friends who can be added to that list. Now, why is this happening? Well, in the communication that I've had with two very high sources that are releasing these funds, they basically said, myself and a couple of others that are being allowed to bring these people in, it says, you have shown yourself over a period of time that the people that you are basically participating with are what we would call highly conscious people. These are people who want to help shift and change this world for the most part. These are people who are realizing that it's humanitarian aid first, and they get to be disbursements of these funds, but yes, they get to be rewarded very handsomely in the process as well. It's about dispersing the money. That's what it's about. It's about spreading it to all around the world and creating jobs and fixing the economy and fixing this planet. And in the process, you can be very handsomely rewarded. And the currencies, they're just the vehicles of exchange. That's all that they are, so they can operate this in a legal fashion to carry it out in a legal manner in private contracts. Now, you're going to have paperwork that you will need to fill out. You're going to have an NDA that you will need to sign. But none of that is happening now. There is nothing that you need to do until it is time to proceed. And we will then send out to the list the process for proceeding. This week on the radio program, I'm going to talk more about why we are getting to do that and why it is a step-by-step process. Now, you've heard me be kind of critical about the fact that there isn't going to be any 800 numbers and you're not going to be able to walk into the bank and just walk out a multimillionaire. I still absolutely believe that. But folks, there is a possibility, there is a potential for in some period of time down the road that those who have not participated in the private exchanges will be able to exchange their currencies. But I can tell you one thing, the rates aren't going to be anywhere close to the private exchanges, and they are not going to be what you read about on those blog sites. That's another whole story, and I'm not going to go into that this week. But right now, I do get to say it's time for us to come together to be able to put ourselves on this list and to start preparing ourselves for movement of funds. The word is funds are moving. Now, on the radio program last week, I said there's somewhere between 10 and 12 steps that it takes for it to go through from when it is released from the family sources in Asia by the time it will get down to us. And this is not just a simple bang, 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 bang step operation. Sometimes it can take weeks to go through all of those steps. But I have had confirmation, again talking with the family representatives on the phone, funds are moving. They are moving, and the process is taking place. And even this morning, I received an email that there is a potential of the fact that one person for project funding has already received their funds. Listen in on the radio program. Bring your questions. If you are not able to call in, send me an email, and I'll take care of your questions on the program that way as well. Looking forward to hearing from you tomorrow night on the radio program. Thank you again. Love all of you. Okay. Bye-bye.